Hello and welcome to Moment of Truth on Labour Social. I'm Graham Hughes. As many Brits are discovering this summer, Brexit is annoying as hell. Doubly so if you didn't vote for it. Those who did are now squealing, "I didn't expect the leopards eating people's faces party, which I voted for, to eat my face," in numerous articles across the media. There's the Brexit voter who bought a house in Italy, only to learn that since January 2021, he could only live in it for 90 out of every 180 days. There is the Brexit voting granny from Manchester, who, following post-Brexit travel restrictions, can no longer bring fresh, locally sourced produce back from Italy in the kind of quantities that once allowed her to make money selling them in the UK. And then there are people who have been left in tears at the airport after falling into the 10-year passport trap, which means that even though your passport might not have expired, if it's more than 10 years old, you can't use it to travel to the EU. Mobile roaming charges, which are banned within the European Union, have returned on 3 out of the 4 major UK networks, EE, Vodafone and Three, now charge in the region of £2 a day to roam around the EU, and O2 is the only UK network that has not reintroduced roaming rates yet. It's not just phone bills, though. British pet lovers used to holidaying with their furry friends using an EU pet passport now have to obtain an animal health certificate if they want to travel to the EU with their dog, cat, or ferret. The boss of Ryanair has said that the era of ultra-low airfares is over. No more popping over to Barcelona for a tenner. And it was reported today that the right to cash compensation of over £500 for disrupted travels no longer exists in particular circumstances. For instance, if you're making a journey to the UK from a non-EU country on an airline such as Air France, KLM or Lufthansa, the right to automatic compensation is gone. Something that I discovered while on our first foreign holiday in 4 years this summer was that British children no longer qualify for free entry to museums and historical sites in Greece. Since we visited a good number of these sites, we ended up spending over €100 more than we otherwise would have done had we simply stayed in the EU. And let's not forget, we used to be able to fill our cars with all the cheap beer and wine we wanted from the Carrefour in Calais and make out that it was for personal use. No questions asked. Now we're restricted to just 4 bottles of spirits or 9 bottles of champagne. Not both, unless you split the quantities. Brexit does not a decent party make. I've not even mentioned the massive queues at Dover, the long waits for Brits stuck in the airport and the non-EU line with fellow travellers from Botswana, Vanuatu, Suriname and 160 other countries. The reduced Eurostar service owing to the enforcement of border restrictions, something that was actually celebrated by the mega minds who got us into this mess in the first place. Meanwhile, the EU's planned entry-exit system comes into force next year, requiring passengers to register biometric data such as fingerprints and facial images when they cross the border into the EU. And yes, that means those queues that are already massive will get even bigger. And just a side note, having crossed the border into literally every country in the world, our setup of free and easy travel within the EU was both unusual and awesome. I said so at the time, but I was drowned out by the braying billionaires looking to make a fast buck out of the xenophobia and naivete of a good chunk of the British electorate. And this is before we even get to our stagnant economy, the £1 trillion hit to our GDP, food prices going through the roof, mortgages becoming unaffordable, a cost of living crisis like we've never seen, and the fact that our rivers are full of shit. Just like the lying toffs that told us that Brexit would be wonderful. So, if you voted for this, I don't want to hear you whining about how unfair it all is. I don't want to hear how you were sucked in by a privately educated con artist with a plummy voice. We all know that. I want an apology. I want you to pick up the phone, call your family and friends whose lives you helped ruin, and say you're sorry. I want you to go on Facebook and post that you don't just regret your vote for your own selfish ends, but that you regret it for the hurt and the upset it has caused others. No excuses, no backpedaling, no, it could have been wonderful if only blah, blah, blah. No, just 2 words. That's all we're asking for. I'm sorry. if enough people say it, then maybe, just maybe, the process of truth and reconciliation can finally begin.